Wrong meeting on here, sorry. Hold on. Okay, now we got it. I ask that everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Mackenzie, could we have roll call, please?
Trustee Stahl?
Here.
Trustee Rhodey?
Yep.
Trustee Belt?
Here.
Trustee Peter?
Here.
Trustee Kaiser?
Here.
Trustee Grabowski?
Here.
And President Knudsen.
Here. We have a public hearing this evening on a public hearing on ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance which in part amends section 40.132A and 40.482A of the Municipal Code of the Village of Pewaukee regarding per diem for citizen board, commission, and committee members, Board of Zoning Appeals and Historic Preservation Commissions. Is there anybody here that'd like to make a comment? There is nobody here, so I will close.
You guys don't want to comment?
Close the public hearing. Approval of the regular village board meeting minutes, May 6, 2025. Hope everyone's had a chance to look them over. Are there any questions, comments, or correction as the way they are presented this evening? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Second, Rhodey.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are hereby adopted. No citizens are here, so we'll skip to number 5. Review, discussion, and possible action on ordinance 2025-04, ordinance to create section 62.101G, 2.1102C, and 2.113, and further to amend or repeal and recreate sections 2.136, 40.132A, 42102, 54132I, 40482A of the Municipal Code regarding a per diem for citizen board, commission, and committee members. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. President. Back in February, the village board, in its regular deliberations, directed staff to propose an ordinance that would establish a per diem payment for non-elected participants in the various boards and subcommittees that serve the village. Attorney Berlinski has done that. He composed this ordinance change. There are two of the bodies that are established in Chapter 40, which is our zoning code. So that had to go before the Plan Commission, those two bodies, which it did, and they recommend for approval. And that's before you tonight.
Are there any questions or comments as what we're doing here? If not, do I have someone that would like to make a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2025-04 to create all of those sections regarding a per diem for citizen board, commission, and committee members.
Second, Grabowski.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 2025-04 is hereby adopted. Resolution 2025-07, resolution establishing a per diem rate for resident members of village committees, boards, and commissions. Matt, again.
Thank you, President Knudsen. So the The ordinance you just adopted establishes that they would receive a per diem. This resolution sets the rate of that. Staff is proposing $20 a meeting. It matches what the city is already paying their committee members, including the Joint Parks and Recreation Board. It clearly isn't a huge amount, but it is just to show appreciation for the effort that committee members take to serve their community and to partially offset some expenses that they might incur. Gasoline, printing, whatever.
Again, any questions or comments?
I should know this because I'm on that board, but for some reason I thought it was $20 like an hour. Is it just 20 a meeting? Like if the meetings go 2 hours, is it still just the 20?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-07.
Second, Rhodey?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2025-07 is hereby adopted. We have no old business, new business. Review, discussion, and possible action to approve an agreement allowing an encroachment into the public right-of-way at 115 Maple Avenue, Tax Key, PWV 0896089. Matt?
Thank you, President Knudsen. So this, the resident at this address is adding an outdoor stairs or stoop to his building. And that bottom step will land and encroach into the sidewalk area a little bit. And my understanding is this is historically, the village has done this in the past. We allow it, but we document that it is allowed with an agreement, and that also requires them to take responsibility for any incidents that occur as a result of that.
Is there any?
Yeah, my understanding also is, in looking at the application, this is essentially a replacement of their portion and the portion that comes onto the sidewalks. It's an improvement.
Yeah, correct. Yes, that's correct.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve the agreement for right-of-way encroachment.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby adopted. Review, discussion, and possible action to approve a 6-foot wide electrical easement to Wisconsin Electric Power Company on property commonly known as River Hills Park, located on the east side of Riverside Drive, south of its intersection with Waterstone Court, Tax Key, PWV 0925100, and is Zone FC Floodplain Conservancy District. I guess I'll go with you, Matt, again.
Thank you, President Knudsen. So We Energies approached the village requesting this. They wish to install some equipment on their property. They already have some equipment on the adjacent properties. This is I believe it's referred to as the canoe launch in Riverside Preserve. It went, because it's a utility easement, it went before the Plan Commission, and they recommend for approval. It's a significant point of fact here, just if everybody could look up at the screen. What I did for the village board packet is I included what the Plan Commission had reviewed, but that did not include the actual easement document. And Attorney Berlinski requested that I display it not only for you, but for members of the public who wish to see it.
I would just add that I've reviewed the easement agreement. We went back and forth on some things. I'm satisfied with the draft as presented.
Any questions or comments?
One administrative question. Matt, do I need to recuse myself as an employee of WEC Energy?
I don't see any reason why you would have to do that if you're not deriving some sort of direct benefit from the granting of
I
this.
am not.
All right,
Just making sure.
I appreciate you checking.
Is the easement only For a 12-month period?
No, it's a permanent easement.
It's a permanent easement.
Yeah, it's a permit. So it will allow them to get access to their equipment.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve the electrical easement on River Hills Park.
Second Grabowski.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Or adopted. Review, discussion, and possible action to approve a sanitary sewer lateral assignment and assumption agreement and permanent easement with WCTC regarding property located at 800 Main Street, tax key PWV 0925999. Just keep going back to you, Matt, until you tell me different.
Thank you, President Knudsen. So, this request or proposal stems from, the improvements being installed in well number 4 for HMO treatment. And and I'll start off and Dave and Jay will chime in details if I goof it up, but, this equipment being installed at well 4, has a cleaning cycle that needs to be repeated once a week where, some filter tanks are backwashed. And that dirty water has to go somewhere. We were exploring installing our own lateral, but it is right next to WCTC's lateral. And through negotiations with them, they allowed us to put our dirty water through their lateral, and in exchange, we offered to take over maintenance of that pipe, which is what this agreement means. So it's kind of a win-win for both parties. The villages save the cost of lateral installation, but at the same time, WCTC is saving the cost of future maintenance. So this agreement with them shows that we're taking over their pipe, and it's granting us permission to get there, to access it.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Motion to approve sanitary sewer lateral assignment and assumption agreement and easement with WCTC.
Second, Rhodey.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby adopted. Discussion and possible action regarding change order number 1 from Mid-City Plumbing at well number 4 HMO treatment project. Matt?
So, thank you, President Knudsen. This is the same project, and the project had moved forward before we had completed discussions with LPSD, the Pewaukee Sanitary District, to connect to their sewer main. And when the project was bid out for construction, and those discussions were complete yet. And in the end, it turned out to not be feasible to connect to their sewer main. So this change order is the resulting construction that has to occur because we couldn't connect. And I don't know if there's any detail you want to add to that.
Are there any questions? Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Bob?
Yeah, just so, point of clarification then. So it was something that could not be done? It was not a matter of LPSD saying, no, we don't want you to do it. It was a matter that it could not be done?
Physically, it could be done, but with forecasting, it was not willing to move forward.
I think one of the terms that LPSD insisted upon was, Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, but forced disconnect of the village lateral at any time in the future, correct?
Because, yeah, the city and LPSD are watching out for their best interest for future growth. And if they want to use that capacity in the future for themselves, it wouldn't be there if we were using it. So therefore, they were basically instructing us to say in the agreement that they could force us to disconnect. So basically, we'd go through this exercise then twice, because it would be connecting to them and then down the road having to do this part of it over again. Is that correct in the assessment? So basically, it's just getting out ahead of it and not dealing with this headache and costs years down the road when they want to surprise us with a disconnect.
Okay.
Would there be more, have we done like a cost review of the project? Like if we were to connect now and then add in a future of our own, what's that total cost versus just doing it all now?
Well, it's this cost here plus the cost that it would have been to connect.
Right.
So obviously this would be less expensive in the total, because this is, rather than doing part A and part B as a combined cost, we're just doing part B. And then who knows, in 3 years, 10 years, whenever they force us to disconnect, obviously you would assume costs of goods and services will have gone up by then.
Correct, okay.
So, yeah, this is just being proactive and not wasting the money on part A that potentially is just still kicking the can down the road.
And Dave, you recommend this?
I do, yeah. So the initial design was from well 4 out to College Avenue. That would be approximately 100 feet. The alternate design was to go out the back of well 4 towards WCTC. That's 200 feet. So if we had to disconnect, we'd be kind of wasting that first 100 feet. We have to install a new 200 feet.
That's what I was inquiring about, yeah. I didn't know how first that connection would be. Okay.
And for reference, this was reviewed by Public Works and Safety and recommended for approval.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve the change order number 1 from Mid-City Plumbing on well number 4.
Second, Stelf?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Number 8E, discussion and possible action to confirm appointments by the village president and removal. So I have 2 this evening. I'm going to go one by one because of the way this is all set up here. First one, I'd like to, trustee Kelly Belt would like to be removed from the library board. So I would like to get a motion to remove her from the library board or accept her removal.
Can I just explain why?
What's that?
Can I just explain why? Because I just got appointed to it. I just want the board to understand why I,
Oh, yeah, because you're going to go up here.
right, so, I had approached President Knudsen about being on the library board. I thought it'd be something different, and I was interested in doing it. But then he approached me about the Public Works and Safety Committee, so I took a couple days to think about it. Because of the work that I do with LPSD, I thought it would be a good complement. And little did I know a year ago that I would become so in tune to sewer laterals and piping and things of that nature. I just thought it would be a benefit. I just thought it could be kind of a three-way win between LPSD, the village, and then me, because that's where my knowledge base is going. Rather than spreading myself thin and then going and learning the library stuff, I could be maybe better. For a win for me, win for the village, hopefully, and LPSD. So that was kind of the mindset around that. So I did take a couple days and think about it, just so you guys don't think I'm wishy-washy here on being appointed to something and then being removed off of it. That was the mindset.
Do I have a motion then?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept trustee Belt's removal from the joint library board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Kaiser.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Then I would like to appoint Kelly Belt to the Public Works and Safety Committee. I will look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve appointment to the Public Works and Safety.
Second, Rhodey.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. And I would like to get a motion to appoint Rachel Patter to the Joint Library Board, replacing Kelly. So I will look for a motion to do that.
Make motion to appoint trustee Rachel Patter to the Joint Library Board.
I'll second Kaiser.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Thank you, everybody. Review, discussion, and possible action for the village to provide matching funds of $7,500 for 4th of July fireworks. We've been doing this for the past many, many years. And somehow, I guess it might have slipped while we were doing, or we're just confirming.
Yeah, as a little bit of background for the
Yeah.
board, especially for the new members, for the last many years, the Friends of Pewaukee Parks has led in the collection of donations for the July 4th fireworks. And every year we have asked the city and the village to make a donation that is a matching fund donation. City donates $10,000. The village, we have asked to make a $7,500 donation that we then have to collect money from private sources as matching funds. Last year, without these matching funds, we collected from private sources $24,500. And then you add the matching funds to it. Total cost of fireworks this year are going to be around $37,000. I have always in the past wanted this item to be an agenda item and not something that's just buried in the budget that's approved every year. So I think it's important that the private business and private individuals have responsibility in collecting money or donating money for this event. So I'm asking the village board to make that $7,500 donation that will be made then as a matching donation.
Trustee Rhodey, how late can people or private citizens donate to the fund?
Yeah, so there are multiple sources online. It's on the Friends page right now. It can either be mailed in, Venmo can be used also. Okay, and there will be, in fact, next week you'll be many people will be receiving donation letters also.
Make a motion to approve the money for the purchase, the village money for the purchase of the fireworks, or matching funds, sorry, to $7,500.
A second Kaiser.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Review, discussion, and possible action to approve village provision of mobile devices for village board members. Matt, you wanna?
Yes, thank you, President Knudsen. So it's my understanding that historically, the village has not provided for equipment for village board members to view their packets. And so I had some questions regarding that recently, and I was exploring a potential option with the IT service that supports the village, Taylor Computers, that we could probably do this for under $350 per trustee. There's no immediate need for this. All the current trustees have their own personal devices. So maybe at this point, just to give feedback to staff, or if you think it's a good idea, you could adopt it. And
Discussion, yes, Bob?
Yeah, question, I guess, to the village attorney. Would it be your recommendation that we utilize a separate device from our private devices, keeping public and private information separate?
To me, it's not as important as, I mean, the way technology is involved. The device itself is not as important to me as the, I guess, the service or the cloud or whatever is archiving. If you're conducting village business, well, certainly if a village device is gonna be provided, you should not be using that device for personal business. But in terms of which device is used for conducting village business, and my concern is only keeping records for open records purposes. And I think we've done that in the past on personal devices, as long as you're using your village accounts. So to me, there's not one significant, I guess, concern one way or the other.
Any other comments? I would just like to add one thing to it is, I did not think of this until this afternoon. I'd actually like to add to the provision that gives the person who needs a laptop or pad, whatever they would prefer, maybe a provision up to $525 that they could purchase the laptop on their own, which would be their own personal unit. The village would then refund the money that they spent, but I know this is gonna sound convoluted, but over the 2 years that they are on the board, a certain amount would come out of their paycheck to reimburse the village for the laptop. So in that way, when they leave, they take the laptop with them, or if there's any damage to it, it's their responsibility to replace it, because it's their own laptop. And plus, I always felt, I have an iPad and I have a laptop. I think I can count on my hand how many times I've used my iPad. And my laptop, I take everywhere. So I think there's something there that we need to have something on the books, because some people don't need a laptop or an iPad, or they just didn't get around to getting it. And this might, if we could do it either way, but if they buy their own the way they want, maybe their home computer is an Apple, so they want an Apple laptop or iPad, they can get that, and we will reimburse them that amount, but then they would be paying us back for it, so that at the end of their term, or by the time they leave, they would then have it paid off, and/or if they leave sooner, they have to pay for it off. Yes, sir.
I think Jim might have it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hate the idea of supplied technology, but I mean, when I believe the city does it. I was in front of another municipality's plan commission recently, and they all have it with provided technology already at the desks and seats, and it's just for that board member then to log in. So if we're talking in terms of, $350 for tablets, I don't think that should be assigned and given to an individual trustee. My feeling is if we're gonna make this expenditure, it's for the village, it's a village asset. And as, not to put something else on staff, but as they're putting out nameplates, they're putting out the laptops or tablets, and it's plan commission members, it's village board members, it's zoning members, whoever sits down has their login, and they could log in right there to see the agendas and what have you. It's a village asset. It stays with the village, but it's for us to use, and it keeps everything consistent up here. Those are my feelings.
Yes, respectfully, I think your option would be adding complexity. When we
Mine?
should,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
just in managing that piece. I guess I look at this and somewhat to what trustee Grabowski was saying, personally, I think either we all do it or none of us do it.
Yep.
Okay? If we all do it, the village purchases whatever unit you're gonna be purchasing for everybody, and that is our village-owned unit. And everybody, and it just gets passed on or updated as needed.
Yep.
I agree with that too, and I think, I don't even honestly know what a computer runs in cost these days, but the city does do that, or like the Park and Rec meeting, there's always the computers there to use. I don't even know that you necessarily need it at every spot, and I mean, could go either way there, but even if we just had, say, 2 or something like available at every meeting for people who might not want to bring theirs or forgot, computer issues, whatever, I do think having like some ready to go is a good idea. Investing in one for every board member.
No, I'm saying they'd stay up here, so it's not.
No, I
Oh,
understand.
okay. I thought
Even
you-
like,
yeah.
even like, is 7 the most of every board?
Mm-hmm.
7. Again, I don't know, maybe that's not a big investment, but, I agree. I think they should be village property versus for each trustee and then to take with them.
You're just looking for direction, right?
Yeah, there's no,
Oh, sorry, Kelly.
No, I'm just curious with them being, just having them in the village and just being placed for anyone that might need them. What if they don't have a computer at all and they can't access the agenda prior to the meeting? I mean, I would assume most people do have some sort of device at home, whether it's a laptop or something. I guess that would be, when I saw this, I was envisioning, yes, it would be given to said trustee, so they would have used to and could review the agenda ahead of time and then also bring it to the meeting. I was kind of envisioning that they just didn't have any technology available to them. So that would be my only thing with it with it just staying here. I like the idea of it just staying here. I think that makes sense.
I think it's
So,
no different than the mishmash of technology we have here,
mean-
our own personal ones, but.
it's not an issue for us right now. It's definitely not an immediate issue. I mean, if I was issued something from the village, I would honestly not even use it. I would continue to use my
Which is
laptop.
what I'm trying to
Yeah.
eliminate, is the added cost of it just sitting on a bookshelf at home type
Right.
thing, If, at least if it's here, then updates can be handled by our IT, security, all that stuff could be handled by our IT. Literally, we're just coming in and putting in our username and password and logging in,
Could there be, maybe there's 2 pieces to it? Could it be that they are available, and then in the case that a board member doesn't have access to technology, then that's like part B, where we can allow them to, have a
purchased.
equipment, during their tenure?
well, the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
We could do that. Based on all the comments from the board, what I'm thinking is probably the next step, since there isn't an urgent need right now, but the next step would be for me to just reach out to the city and see what they do for policy and practice. And then perhaps include something along those lines in the 2026 budget discussion and see how the board feels about it.
Sounds good.
We're looking at the purchase of 7 total laptops, right?
Yeah.
That'd be the most we would ever need.
Right. They would stay at the desks, right?
Heck, they could be $150 Chromebooks, for all, it's not like we're doing heavy gaming or computing up here.
Right.
It's reading Word documents.
How does the staff, how is the equipment situation and staff? Are those your guys' computers you take home, or do they stay here?
You want me to answer? This is my desktop, so I connect this to my monitors, but then I also take it home.
Is it
But
your
it's a
personal or
village.
village
It's
asset?
village.
Same.
Okay,
It's a village device. It functions as my desktop, and I take it.
yeah, okay. But it's your, exclusively yours and yours, and.
Right.
Yeah.
Dedicated to me, us. Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that our computers are not gonna work together,
They're not?
so we have to, what's stored on my computer is only on my computer.
Interesting. So if you were here, you couldn't pull up your drives or anything on them?
You'd have to bring them on a flash drive or something. Yeah, I
Seems
didn't know
horribly
that.
inefficient.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Do you guys not have a server?
Pardon me?
You guys don't have a server that you're operating off of? Like, how do you go, so everything's stored on your computer and you go home and work, you're not logging into a terminal server or anything?
We are.
Okay,
We're logging into the police server, actually.
okay.
But you do not.
We don't have DPW.
So what happens if your computer goes in a pond somewhere?
It's backed up by the IT company.
Oh, okay.
So when Dave, when we sit down and talk about capital needs,
Yeah,
that should be on our list.
and I think we need to address that for
Yeah.
a village-wide server.
My hard drive is maxed out too. Actually, it's a new thing.
That seems like a high priority.
Have you
maybe to
guys
look
reached
into.
out? Have you
Remember
guys
when
reached out to Taylor Computers?
Remember
about
when we
looking
had to
at bringing them
repave
down?
Main Street and Dave lost all the sewer laterals for River Hills?
I was running out of space, guys. Okay, well,
Yeah, so I don't think there's any action needed. I think I have direction moving forward.
thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you. Okay, item H, review, discussion, and possible action to schedule a special meeting of the village board to consider appeals of the 2024 fire EMS protection fee. I believe this is coming out of Public Works and Safety.
No, well, it is. Yep, I stand corrected. It is. This is the third of our 3 applicants. And he did go before the Public Works and Safety Committee meeting earlier this month. So the next step for this applicant is to come before the board for their formal hearing.
Can we piggyback it off the 2 we just scheduled?
Absolutely.
You can. I guess the only comment I would make, and this doesn't change that course of action, is with 3 appeals, I would assume that would take more than an hour, just to be honest.
So I'd still rather just be here one night and crank it all out.
I agree.
I mean, if we can do earlier, I'm flexible. I can be here at 4. I don't know what everyone else's schedule is like, so,
Can we stay later too?
yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I just want the expectation to be set that I would find it very unlikely we'd be able to finish all 3 in an hour, which we don't have to, but
Right.
more just setting an expectation.
Well, I guess it all depends on what quality of evidence they present.
Yeah,
We've already heard it all.
I think 5 o'clock on the 3rd works.
Do they have to have like individual times, or can they all be given the 5 o'clock time and then they have to wait their turn, or
We usually just set it as the special meeting to start at 5, and then put them in the agenda, however they're ordered. So we have not assigned specific times in the past.
Okay, so is everybody okay with having the 3rd one on the 3rd then? Could I have
I
a,
like all you guys. I don't need to come back another night and see you.
Administrator Matt, can you do, if you sent an email or communication about the cancellation of these 2 like last minute, if they do that again, can you just let us know and then say, hey, regular board meeting time? Is that, you can't do that?
No, because the way we set the agenda for the special and the regular, if we do it this way, is we need a time certain somewhere in there. So we have a time certain start for the special meeting, 5 o'clock. And then the regular meeting, how we agendize it is starting immediately after the conclusion of the special board.
Got it.
So, and the agenda has to be posted. If we would have a last minute cancellation like that, like we had in some respect tonight, we can't go back and change the regular agenda.
Okay.
okay, would someone like to make a motion to that effect then?
I'll make a motion to schedule a regular, or we already have a special, but to add the
Yeah.
I don't know who it's for.
KKNN, I think, right?
Yeah.
For,
KKNN, Quail.
to add KKNN Quail Court to our special meeting on June 3rd at 5 o'clock.
Second, Grabowski.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 5 o'clock on June 3rd. Review, discussion, and possible action to approve checks and invoices from April 2025. I will look for a motion to approve all checks and invoices relating to the village except for the library.
So moved. Rhodey.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. I would like a motion to approve all checks and invoices from, or not approve, but to acknowledge all invoices from the library, checks and invoices.
Does their newest board member want to do it?
Oh, yeah. What's that? Do you want to?
Do you want to, you're the newest board member of the library board. Do you want to acknowledge the?
Yes, I will acknowledge to approve the checks and invoices from April 2025.
Second, Grabowski.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Item 9, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with board members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the board is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, with time being indicated by an audible alarm. When the alarm sounds, speakers are asked to please conclude their comments. Speakers are asked to use the podium and state their name and address for the record. I see we have 2 people that came in at the end. Would you like to make a comment, sir or ma'am?
Hi.
Please come up to the podium.
My name is Jim Sullivan. I live over at 512 Spring Street, and my wife and I have stand back there. We bought a house across the street from us at 115 Maple, and we're just trying to get a encroachment approved for having a new step, so we don't have to have a ladder to get into our house. We tore down the other one because it wasn't in code and it was falling apart, and we didn't realize we had to do that, so I've been working with Dave here, and so we thought the meeting started at 6, so I apologize for late.
No, sorry for the confusion on our end. Good news is,
You did get approved by
yeah.
It was approved.
Yeah, okay. Normally, we don't interact with citizen comments, but since the timing issue, we'll just tell you it's been approved.
Thank you.
All right. If there's no other comments, I'll look for number 10, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. We are hereby adjourned.
I can make my daughter's soccer game.
There you go.
It's indoor.
I'm sorry.